After an evening of tornadoes and severe weather across the central United States, another round of severe weather is expected across the central Gulf Coast throughout the day on Saturday. This event has already begun as a continuation of last night's event and is expected to continue throughout the evening. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a level 5 out of 5 high risk from Jackson, Mississippi up through Birmingham and into the Huntsville and Montgomery metropolitan regions. There is also a 30 to 44% probability of a tornado within 25 miles of these points, as well as in the level 4 out of 5 moderate risk from eastern Louisiana up through central Tennessee. There is a 15 to 29% risk. On this tornado outlook here, anywhere in this black hatched area has a 10% or greater probability of a significant EF2 to EF5 tornado. According to the Storm Prediction Center's outlook, current expectations are for the most favorable strong to intense tornado environment to continue across Mississippi this afternoon and evening, with moderate instability and ample low-level and deep layer shear already in place. The tornado threat will spread eastward into Alabama and southern Tennessee this afternoon and evening, and eventually into parts of the Florida Panhandle, western and central Georgia, and eastern Tennessee overnight, in tandem with an ejecting southern stream shortwave trough and related intense low-level jet stream. Here is our satellite currently over the southeast, clearing in central and eastern Alabama, as well as a moisture flow from the Gulf that is initiating convective development across this cold front area of eastern Louisiana and western Mississippi. And this is already producing some discrete supercells that could be indications of a very strong tornado risk. There has already been a tornado confirmed in western Mississippi today. Here is our radar imagery, including a overlay of CAPE, which is basically the energy or juice and fuel for thunderstorms to form. And in those areas with the highest CAPE, we're starting to see many thunderstorms beginning to form across eastern Louisiana, western Mississippi, even into eastern Mississippi as this cold front continues to progress and a low pressure forms across Arkansas. The Storm Prediction Center was talking about that shortwave trough, and you could kind of see it starting to peep its head in right here across Arkansas and Mississippi, and that continues up into Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee throughout the evening tonight. Here is our synopsis of what this system is doing. A low pressure is going to form across Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi throughout the next few hours, and that's going to trigger a deep layer of moisture starting to get pulled up from the Gulf, as well as a cold front going to form just to the south of that low pressure, and that is going to create the instability, the moisture, and the lifting environment for severe thunderstorms, as well as the change of wind direction with height that we're going to be seeing alongside this trough that has been moving through the southern and central U.S. throughout the past day or so that could spark tornado development. This system continues to move to the northeast and into Canada throughout the day on Sunday, and we could see that significant tornado risk continue through portions of the Carolinas and Virginia throughout the day on Sunday. Let's get up close and personal with this event, and let's break this down from one of our higher resolution models here. This is the HRRR, a convective allowing model. This is composite reflectivity as well as 1 hour maximum updraft helicity. This is basically where rising air can start to spin in these little brown areas that are embedded within this picture here. So that gives a good indication that there is strong areas where we could see tornado development. Don't take anything here verbatim. Things do change within our atmosphere. So as we go throughout the next few hours, you can see kind of these bean shapes starting to show up here on the HRRR, and that indicates that it's showing some very high shear within the atmosphere. And if we take a sounding here and look at this photograph here, this shows the wind speed and direction with height, and you kind of see this little hook that starts to develop here, and that's an indication that the atmosphere is primed for tornado development. These discretes or cells that are by themselves, I think, have the best chance of producing those EF3 to EF5 tornadoes with this severe weather system. The line that is behind it, I think could still produce tornadoes, but will be weaker in nature, more so along the lines of EF1 to EF3. You can see more discrete thunderstorms starting to pop up ahead of this line throughout the afternoon and evening in Alabama, especially right here. You can see one of those updraft helicity plots getting pushed through the Birmingham area, just south of Birmingham here. And that is part of one of those pill or bean shapes in those discrete cells that are being put into this model output right now. As this system continues to march eastward, I think that the storm mode goes from those discrete individual cells to more of this line trying to take over the storm threat. And I do think that once you get into eastern Alabama and western Georgia, this severe weather risk will be significantly lower than in portions of Mississippi and western and central Alabama. So that is the one silver lining with this event, that as those discrete cells turn into a line of thunderstorms, we'll see that risk of impactful tornadoes start to go down. It won't be near zero, but it'll be a little bit lower than in that high risk area once you get further east. So here's the significant tornado parameter. This is one way that meteorologists put all of our different parameters into one overall outlook, and the higher the number here, the greater the risk for significant tornadoes. And you can see in some of those areas where we were talking about those bean shapes, we have significant tornado parameter values of a 6, which is very high on this significant tornado parameter. And that continues throughout much of our high risk area and even into our moderate risk area of southern Mississippi and eastern Louisiana over the next few hours. I do think that that significant tornado parameter risk does go down as we get into areas like eastern Alabama and western Georgia. Although it is not going to be zero, you can see here a little flare up here, and that gets near 5. So although it's going to be lower overall in eastern Alabama and western Georgia, that does not mean that there is no risk for tornadoes in these areas. Again, that main risk is going to be, I think, more so in eastern Mississippi and western Alabama, right in this region right here, kind of the western area of that high risk. And the HREF, the High Resolution Ensemble Forecasting System, agrees that there is a 30 to 45% risk of tornadoes within this central and eastern Mississippi region, and a 15 to 30% risk from eastern Louisiana through central Alabama, with eastern Alabama and western Georgia in that 10 to 15% risk. I also overlaid the updraft helicities, again, that rising air starting to spin, and that is the run max. So everything that has an updraft helicity over 75 is put on this plot in these browns here, and you can see how expansive that coverage is, indicating that there is a prime atmospheric condition for tornado development across the southern United States right now. Even though we have this significant severe weather risk today, that doesn't mean that this severe weather is going to be done after today. After today, we're going to be seeing this continue into the East Coast, where we could see another risk for tornadoes, albeit lower than today, across the Carolinas and Virginia, with the Storm Prediction Center already issuing for Sunday a 5 to 9% risk of tornadoes from the Augusta, Georgia region up to the Richmond, Virginia region. So if you are in any of these areas that are under a tornado risk today, please stay safe and be aware of your surroundings. It is a day to be weather aware across areas of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and a day to be weather aware across the Carolinas and Virginia throughout the day tomorrow. If you want an individual timing forecast from me, please leave a comment in the comment section below with a town nearby you or the town that you live in, and I will be happy to provide timing forecasts for any of this significant severe weather. Stay safe, and I'll see you again very soon.